So, here's the thing, Meghan Markle's past refuses to stay buried. Just when it feels like the noise dies down, something resurfaces, a screenshot, an old DM, and suddenly, the internet lights up all over again. This week? It was a screenshot. Dated back to 2016, unearthed once more by the account Meghan's Mole. It shows a man named Adam Hound, hardly a public figure, allegedly inviting Meghan to Yacht Week in Croatia via her old Twitter account. The message seemed casual: if you're free, join us. But the internet? Never takes anything at face value. To some, it looked like a harmless holiday invite between friends. But to others, it was another puzzle piece in a much bigger picture, the so-called yacht girl theory. That theory paints Meghan as someone who circulated within an elite, behind-the-scenes world. Yachts, socialites, wealthy men, and actresses just on the edge of fame. Now, let's be clear, there's no hard proof of anything scandalous. This isn't a confession. It's a whisper. A vibe. But online sleuths insist it aligns with a pattern, one of quiet connections, private parties, and strategic associations that allegedly helped Meghan climb the ladder before meeting Prince Harry. The narrative splits here. Critics say it's all too convenient, while defenders argue it's just misogyny in designer packaging. But one thing's for sure, the court of public opinion never forgets, especially when it comes to royalty. And for Meghan, no matter how far she runs from her past, the internet keeps bringing it back.
And a source told OK magazine, quote, "There are many things that both of them, especially Meghan, don't necessarily want in the public domain. One of which may be the, again, alleged rumoured yacht girl days."
There's a persistent belief among a particular group of royal watchers that Meghan Markle's rumoured yacht girl past may have intersected with some very familiar faces, specifically, royals like Prince Andrew, and that this quiet overlap eventually led to her path crossing with Prince Harry. Of course, none of it is proven. There are no timestamps, no boat manifests, no camera footage. Just whispers, quiet, unrelenting, and global. And it doesn't help that when this topic surfaces, the response from the media, the palace, and even mainstream coverage is an allergic kind of silence. It's not just hesitation, it's avoidance. This silence only fuels a theory bubbling in the darker corners of royal discourse, that there's a coordinated effort to bury all discussions of Meghan's rumored past. Because if, even slightly, Meghan had moved in circles that involved royals prior to Harry, especially someone as controversial as Andrew, it fundamentally shifts the public narrative. The idea of Meghan as an ambitious actress who randomly caught Harry's heart becomes harder to believe when you add layers of potential introductions in elite party settings. Suddenly, it's not a fairy tale meet-cute. It's a web of private events, whispered introductions, and hidden familiarity. Among the juiciest claims? That Meghan and Andrew may have met during these so-called yacht excursions, a theory floating around for years, never with proof, but always with just enough smoke to keep people looking for fire. And in an age obsessed with receipts, even the absence of evidence starts to look suspicious. The royal romance was packaged as pristine, an American commoner meeting a British prince, a love story against the odds. But once you suggest there may have been previous royal contact, perhaps even pre-Harry familiarity, the myth begins to unravel. It's this unraveling that keeps people hooked. And adding fuel to the fire was that infamous German documentary, teased as the tell-all Meghan and Harry didn't want the public to see. It was supposed to expose everything: connections, timelines, reputations. But after legal delays, redactions, and suspicious last-minute edits, the final release landed like a soft thud. People expected fire, but got filtered fog. Rumors immediately swirled that the delay wasn't about fact-checking, it was about stripping away the controversial parts. And among the cut segments? Alleged references to Meghan's yacht connections, Mediterranean parties, and pre-Harry social climbs that painted her in a very different light. Back in Hollywood, Meghan was no stranger to that scene. She wasn't a household name, but she was present, in the right rooms, with the right people. Before royal titles and international headlines, she was a hustling actress auditioning for gigs and building a network. But according to insiders, there was more than just charm and drive. There was strategy. Not in a malicious way, but in a survivalist sense, knowing how to position yourself in an industry built on power, proximity, and perception. Meghan, for all her polished elegance, played the game. And one of the game's biggest arenas? Soho House. Private, exclusive, and teeming with influence, these members-only clubs are the unofficial headquarters of whispered deals, flirtations, and backdoor alliances. Meghan wasn't just attending events there, she was part of the scene. A regular name on the list. Soho House was where producers, models, tech investors, and occasionally even royalty mingled without scrutiny. And Harry? He was known to frequent Those exact spaces. That's why people connect the dots. Was their official meeting really their first? Or were paths quietly crossing long before their public love story began? This speculation would have stayed niche if not for the rise of royal gossip accounts, pages like Meghan's Mole, Royally Sage, and others who dedicate themselves to unearthing every detail, screenshot, and possible receipt. They post archived tweets, old party photos, deleted captions, sometimes vague, sometimes damning, always provocative. And while a single post might seem meaningless, when layered into years of breadcrumbs, the narrative starts to feel cohesive, even if unproven. That's exactly how the Yacht Girl rumors gained traction again, not because of new revelations, but because the story never fully died. It just kept echoing louder every time it was silenced. And that silence? It's not just coming from fans or press. Meghan and Harry themselves have been outspoken about false media narratives. They've sued, confronted, and corrected misinformation. Yet when it comes to these yacht rumors, there's a deafening quiet. No pushback. No official denial. Just absence. And in the digital age, that absence speaks volumes. It suggests either disinterest or discomfort. Because when you don't address something, people start to believe you can't. That German documentary's delay did more damage than its release. It reignited curiosity. The notion that something was actively removed made people think, what was so bad it couldn't air? And curiosity turned into obsession. Especially when the topic involves royalty, scandal, and secrecy. Human nature doesn't let go. Especially not with stories like this. Then there's Lady Colin Campbell, royal commentator, author, and gossip authority for decades. She's been known to name names, call out secrets, and stir the pot. But even she treads lightly. On this particular Meghan topic. She hints. She nods. But she won't go all in. And when someone like Lady C holds back, people notice. Because if she won't touch it, there's a reason. And maybe that reason is that it's not just gossip, it's dangerous. It's protected. It's powerful. Which leads to a larger question, why hasn't Meghan ever addressed any of it? She's quick to clap back at tabloid lies, Instagram rumors, or headlines she dislikes. But on this topic? Silence. Absolute silence. And in today's climate, silence isn't neutral. It either says you're above it, or you're hiding something. That's why every time the yacht theory resurfaces, it feels like brand new tea, because Meghan has never put it to rest. For those deep into royal gossip, it's just the same saga in a new outfit. Yet something about it keeps audiences coming back. Maybe it's the novelty of someone from the Hollywood grind making it into royalty. Maybe it's the idea of someone gaming the system. Or maybe, for the cynics, it's the thrill of watching a perfectly curated image get poked by inconvenient truths. The reason these conversations never fully disappear? It's not just about gossip. It's about mystery. Meghan's life before Harry is foggy. We know about suits, red carpet appearances, a marriage to Trevor Engelson, and some philanthropy work, but beyond that? It's vague. Suspiciously so. The press rarely touches it. And when they do, it's met with silence, soft threats, or strategic redirections. That's not normal. Public figures have their histories dissected in full. But with Meghan, it's like the moment you start digging, the trail vanishes. Sources close to her say she was hardworking, driven, and laser-focused on success. But others, those who claim to have crossed paths with her at parties, networking trips, and yacht circles, describe something different. They talk about her showing up at events where young actresses were often introduced to wealthy men. Again, all alleged. But it's the sheer consistency of these whispers that's hard to shake. They don't come from one place. They're everywhere. A network of background noise. And it refuses to turn off. It gets louder when social media users post cryptic captions like, "Don't make me post the others from that day. This is the least trashy." Instantly, the internet goes wild. Is it blackmail? A bluff? A warning? No one knows. But the tone suggests there's more where that came from. Messages, photos, or even people with first-hand stories, none of it released yet. But possibly waiting. And if that's true, if there really is more, what happens when it drops? Would it destroy Meghan's reputation? Or would the world move on? Some say she wouldn't be the first celebrity with a wild past. And that's true. But this isn't just about the past. It's about the effort to erase it. That's where the tension lies. When stories vanish, photos disappear, sources go quiet, it creates a sense of darkness. Maybe darker than the actual truth. One royal source put it bluntly, it's not that Meghan did anything other actresses haven't done. It's that she did it within arm's reach of the crown. And that changes the rules. If she were still just Meghan from LA, no one would care. But Meghan is now the Duchess of Sussex. A royal wife. the mother of children with royal bloodlines. That reframes everything. Every old party becomes a risk. Every rumor becomes a potential royal crisis. And the truth? Likely sits somewhere in the middle. Maybe Meghan did get yacht invites. Maybe she went. Maybe it was all innocent. Or maybe not. But the public's refusal to let it go speaks volumes. It says more about the audience than the subject. We want our royals clean. We want our fairy tales polished. But when someone breaks the mold and climbs all the way up anyway, it unsettles people. Meghan's story is proof that in a world obsessed with perception, no rise comes without ghosts. And no past, no matter how distant, ever stays buried.